And we are recording, Mr. Moore.
I'm ready. I've got
Oh,
my tank on, and you got your tank on.
we got our tanks on. We're ready
It's
to go.
warm in New York.
It is, and you look like you got some color in your travels. You went from pale white to Irish red in the last
Yeah, I
few
went from
shades.
like glow in the dark to like an earthy beige with the red undertones and a silky matte finish.
It's 50 Shades of Gay coming to you right here. The FratChat Podcast.
I noticed that there is the number 100 on your hat. Is that your goal weight? What is this?
Yes, if I chop my leg off and half my ass cheek and maybe an arm, but I hit 100 boxing classes, brother.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna do this whole thing.
Okay, so question for you. I've never taken a boxing class, but I had taken cardio kickboxing with a bunch of girls. And I'm not saying that these girls couldn't kick my ass, as most of them probably could. But what I am saying, I felt like this class was more um, geared towards the cardio than the kickboxing. So it was a lot of just like bouncing up and down and like jab, crossover, hook, uppercut, switch, other side, kick. But I didn't feel like I got technique. It was more like, let's just keep moving and let's bust a sweat. Do you feel like you could beat someone's ass after 100 boxing classes?
I honestly do feel like I could fuck shit up right now. And I have taken CKO kickboxing here in Hoboken, actually. The thing is, it depends. The class, you got to have an actual bag. If you go to a boxing class where you never hit a bag ever, that's already mistake number one. Same thing with kickboxing. Because that's how you know if you're doing shit right. Like if you're just punching the air, it's like, I know shadow boxing is part of it. If you want to work in speed or you want to watch yourself in the mirror and point technique. But if you're just blindly doing shit into the air, not gonna do anything. But hitting the bag, you do like help technique. You feel it on your fists, when you hit something right, it makes like a beautiful sound and it just feels like great and like the bag starts like spinning, and then you can just translate
the big bag and not the little bags you like hit like this, right? It's the
correct,
big bag
like a
from
big
the ceiling.
motherfucker and you just boom boom, it's not quite the heavy bag, but it's not like the little tiny like those are fun to do. But yeah, I honestly I recommend it. It's fun, and especially
little bags are like punching titties.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I was saying this off air. Workout classes like that, like especially boxing classes where you don't have a one-on-one coach, they're a lot like therapy. You get in, you get out of it what you put into it. So if you're trying and you're doing it, and you're thinking cognitively of your technique and getting it right and defense and throwing in the head movements and the shit you're learning, you're gonna be good. If you're in there just there are people who I look at and they're in there like, they look like a cat doing, like getting their spot ready before bed. So it depends. But there are some people that I look at who are trying their heart out, So the coach can only see so much. So it's one of those where it's really on you.
You get what you put in. It's like your skin reflects the things you put in your mouth. And so mine reflects a lot of
dicks.
A lot of dicks and orange juice.
That's what you're going for, right? Yeah. Oh, OJ, totally. That's what you were going for. I'm so sorry. Oh God.
Anyhow,
we're gonna do this in 3, 2, 1. What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge.
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the FratChat Podcast.
All young men like 3 things. Dudes, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the FratChat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with CMO Moore. How's it going, Mr. Moore?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
That's
but
usually the part
I
where you
wanted-
answer. Pause.
Huh?
So you waited quite a pause before you started answering the questions. So I was just making sure that your brain, was
Oh,
good. I don't know
I
if you need
think
to
I was
blow
just
your
thinking of what
nose.
to say. I'm good, but I wasn't going to bring this up. But I think I'm going to. I'm good, but there was a situation this week where an acquaintance went to the immigration office for their spousal interview.
Yeah.
This is a step towards a green card, and was snatched up by ICE, and they followed all the rules. And that's like when the conservatives say, like, we support immigration if they follow the rules and there's specific steps and you have to do it the right way. When people do it the right way and they're arrested during their
Yeah.
interview, it's so
Yeah.
upsetting to me, and it makes me lose faith in the government. It makes me embarrassed. It makes me embarrassed, like, wave the American flag, because I think that America sucks right now. Like, that is not the American way, and I'm so upset. And so
Yeah.
I'm glad that you can box, because when they come snatch you off the street, you can beat their ass.
Yeah, right. And it's honestly, it's heading that way. It's not gonna shock me that he then decides he's already taken away like legal protections for millions of people. He's snatching off people before they can hit their legal immigration appointments. It's not going to shock me that he then uses the same enemy of the U.S. clause that he was using to deport people to then say, oh, well, these citizens that got citizenship from the year of XX onward are clearly the enemy of the people. So we're going to take that citizenship away. And now they're illegals too. Kind of like the certain someone who they keep ripping off, whose game plan they keep ripping off and wondering why we call him fascist. Little buddy named Adolf that
Yeah.
2025 is based on, and
I
it's sad.
we had fraternity brothers who would, like, lurk in the corners, and they would wait for, like, it's not nice to say, but the most busted, like, chicks, and they would be, like, sloppy and drunk, and then they would brag, like, I hooked up with so many girls. Yeah, but I don't know if they're good quality girls. Like they
They don't remember it. It doesn't count.
well, that's date rape. That's horrible. But also, like, there's other guys that would, like, occasionally meet, like, a really nice quality girl, and there's this quantity over quality. So I feel like ICE has a quota, and they just want to snatch up as many people as they can, so they can say, listen, like, we took 100,000 people off the streets. Okay, but of those, which one are actually, like, bad people? Because I would rather you maybe focus on someone that like, definitely is partaking in, like, fentanyl distribution, and not just, like, people who are, like,
I'm
just trying to
sorry.
get married.
I appreciate you being an ally to the qualms of my people in this country. I do. But did you just compare, as your analogy, of the state of the fucked upness and the fascist shit in the world in the U.S. today to the nasty hookups, the filthy, dirty hookups that people had in college?
Yeah, I think I did. I was trying to give a quantity over quality scenario. It's called an analogy.
So what I get from ICE is only deporting uggos, guys. So go.
No. I'm just saying
No,
that
I get it.
some people brag about numbers, and, like, I don't care
totally.
about numbers. Like,
Yeah.
of those people, which ones are actually, like, I don't feel safer at night when alone in my apartment, like, sleeping in my bed, knowing that, like, people are snatched up at the immigration office. Like it doesn't make me feel safer.
And if anything, they're just they're leaving the criminals. They're not even going for the fucking criminals. They just did an operation during the shutdown in Chicago where they went into this building and it was a black building. It was all US citizens. And they literally like handcuffed everyone with zip ties, including the fucking kids. And they were interviewing this lady.
Kids?
Mm-hmm. And they were all American citizens. And they were just black. And literally the lady who's a grandma was talking. She was in her 70s. She was showing like the bruises from the zip ties. And she was literally saying like I asked them why they're here, if they had a warrant, and they literally pointed a gun to my face and were like, shut the fuck up or I'm gonna shoot. You know? And they just showed another one where it was in this hospital, a representative, some sort of state representative or town representative. I forget exactly what her title was, but ICE was trying to detain this guy who was there, in the hospital.
And she's an alderman.
Yeah, she's like, do you have a warrant? And they fucking snatched her up and arrested her. Super like they almost like fucking hit her in the face with a fucking butt of a gun. It's like these people are escalating.
Intense. She was released. Yeah, but they just like handcuff people and they ask questions later. They just detain everyone.
And they're
like, we'll sort it out later. What?
So yeah, and it's fascist theater, and it really is. But like they're like shooting people, they're fucking killing people. That's some of the people from Alligator Alcatraz haven't been found yet. But they got transported to where? No one knows. They literally disappeared.
Oh, so sad.
Like these are people under the jurisdiction of the fucking federal government, and like they just disappear. No, what? Like that's.
Did you see? So Donald Trump wanted to prove that Washington D.C. was a safer place after he's done whatever he did. So he went out to dinner and he got fucking booed at the restaurant. And protesters came in. They were they're like, "You suck, dude." What a mess. And also, do you know who Mike Johnson is?
Do I ever?
Speaker of the House.
Yeah, buddy.
Like what a fucking closeted flaming like fagazoid, you know?
I think that President Trump should just pull down my pants and fuck me. He is so in the closet. He is definitely in the closet.
Have you seen the clip on TikTok of the guy who's like, if you don't swear in this Democratic congresswoman in Arizona, I'm gonna release your Grindr profile and your IP address. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, something's not right with Mike Johnson. He's, I don't.
Well, the developments in that case too, right? Of like the guy, that video got taken down, and he then made a follow-up video saying he had to give the proof to like his attorney or whatever, because like people have been coming after him ever since. And it's like gotten kind of scary for him. But he's everybody who fucking sees. It's like when you walked in the first time I goddamn met you to dance practice, I was like, "Gay," it's like, come on, you just gotta hear him.
Yeah, fair.
No, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just he's 1,000% gay. So, but now that guy, he's like, if something happens to me, no, it was them.
I was talking about this at work, which you're not supposed to talk about things like this at work, but we're at lunch. And someone was like, well, it's not nice to out people. Like, how would you feel? I'm like, yeah, but I'm not actively trying to strip away LGBTQIA rights. You know what I mean? Like he is the enemy. And so I just don't understand. I would never out anyone unless they were like fighting against my personal rights. Now, I don't want to get on my high horse too much, but I take issue with him being so religious and so performative with his like praying.
Oh, everything is. It's like,
so annoying. And I learned in Sunday school that the Bible says, Matthew 6, you should worship in private.
Yeah.
And it also says to be wary of people that worship publicly. And so I feel like this is like the epitome of what we were taught to like look out for. Do you know what I mean?
They called the Pope woke.
Yeah.
Now they're going after the Pope because here's the thing. MAGA has become a sanctuary for the type of person that watches like a 5-minute YouTube video and they think they're fucking experts or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like those are the people. So they knew better than the doctors during COVID. They know better now during the election. They knew better that prior to 2025 was all bullshit. They know better with the economy. They know better now with the military. It's everything. It's literally, they know better with everything, including now religion and Jesus. Like, oh, we know better than the fucking Pope. Yeah, dude. Totally. Absolutely.
But you know what they don't know? They don't know that Puerto Rico is an American territory.
Totally.
They have no idea. And so people are like, Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, he's not American. Yes, he is. And yes, he can speak English. He just happens to have an accent. And no, I also have an accent and I'm an American. So fuck you, you know?
People are stupid. I literally saw this man on Twitter, and I try not to talk to people on Twitter because there's such fucking morons on there that it just creates like a cesspool of hate. But this dumbass was talking somehow about the Bad Bunny thing. And then he started talking about Mexicans. And then saying
Dude,
Mexicans have been invading us. yeah, it was Donald tweeting. It was some guy, some older guy, you know. But he was like tweeting on there, like Mexicans have been invading the U.S. for over 200 years. They did it in the Alamo, and ever since then, it's been the worst. And I was like, wait, 200? Do you realize that the Alamo was theirs? And I literally responded to this, and I never do. It's like, are you aware that the Alamo was literally theirs, and that the U.S. took it from them, and that was like the whole thing? They were trying to get it back. Like, are you fucking aware of this? Are you that fucking stupid? And the person never responded, of course, because when you get people like that, they never do. Rather than being like, oh, I had no idea. Let me take that shit down.
And we lost that battle. And he shouldn't bring it up. It's embarrassing for American history.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. Like, the Alamo was theirs. Like, do you know why California has Santa Barbara? It was theirs, you dumb fucks. It's like people don't realize they're too stupid to know that they don't know, but they think that they know fucking everything. And that's MAGA summed up in 3 minutes. But
yeah,
speaking of which, speaking of knowing better than anybody, of course, who better than to lead the military than an alcoholic that wears more makeup than my grandma? Because this week on the news, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth speaks to reshape the military. Quite a lot of attention, primarily because, my God. Let me see. We've been doing comedy collectively here at the FratChat Podcast. I'm almost 10 years in. CMO has been doing it for like 15, 20. So let's say a combined experience of about 30 years on stage here at the FratChat Podcast. And that's just comedy. We've done way more other than that. And we bombed in that time quite a bit. Everybody does. Every comedian knows the experience of bombing. And I have never seen someone bomb like this man did in front of that speech.
Oh my God, so uncomfortable.
It was so uncomfortable. It was to the point where they were like demanding that they clap or get out, essentially. And I'm gonna, thanks to the good people of NBC News, we got that speech condensed into 2 minutes, which is just about as long as the president lasts in the sack, and that includes taking off the pants. So we're gonna hit you with that.
You're a beardo?
I am. That's right.
Who cares?
So let's hit you with that speech in 2 minutes. See what you guys think.
But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons, based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We became the woke department. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. We are done with that. Each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. This is not about preventing women from serving. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. No more beardos. We're undertaking
No
a
more
full
beardos.
review of the department's definitions of so-called toxic leadership, bullying, and hazing. Of course, you can't do like nasty bullying and hazing. We're talking about words like bullying and hazing and toxic. They've been weaponized. And if that makes me toxic, then so be it. No more frivolous complaints. No more anonymous complaints. No more repeat complainants. No more smearing reputations. No more endless waiting. No more legal limbo. No more sidetracking careers. No more walking on eggshells. Telling someone to shave or get a haircut or to get in shape or to fix their uniform or to show up on time or to work hard, that's exactly the kind of discrimination we want. Simply put, if you do not meet the male level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession.
Wow. So
Wow.
I didn't know. I didn't realize MAGA hated beards like this. You know, you could have fooled me when you crashed Grinder twice in a week. Hey!
I think that
Adam.
Hegseth's makeup gets like cakey when it's applied to stubble. So you need
Yeah,
to have
right?
a freshly shaved face.
The guy wearing more makeup than a fucking cheap hooker on a Tuesday night is telling everybody else how to be manly.
He
Yeah,
said
hit me with
there's
that.
he said there's a lot of fat people in the Pentagon, but how would he know? Because he's always in his makeup room in the Pentagon.
Meanwhile, the fattest fuck you ever seen in the White House in the last like 150 years is ordering another Big Mac. Like, that's right. There's too many fat people in there. There's too many. Believe me, you got to be the epitome of fitness. Okay, believe me.
Yeah, he loves his hamburgers. Okay, so I have to say, I think I owe the listeners an apology because when we were interviewing Dakari, I made a comment about the police force in Chicago, and I called them fat asses. And although I do stand behind the fact that I think that policemen should take, they should have more of an intense physical qualifications, because I wonder like how you're going to run after someone if like you're a hiccup away from a seizure.
Right.
I don't think that my vernacular calling them fat asses was like a nice thing to say, because when I heard what Hegseth said, that there's a lot of fat admirals, I thought to myself, well, that's body shaming. That sounds bad. When I hear someone else say it, I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't have said that, because it just sounds gross. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, he's incorrect. Like, I mean, sure, like the admirals, the older folk, probably not. They don't have combat positions. So why do they need to have six packs? They need to have fucking brains that can lead you into goddamn battle and come up with a battle plan and diplomacy and all that good stuff. That's what you need them for. The cadets and the people on the field are fucking fit. If they're not, they die in fucking battle. Like, you go to a Marine, like I've had Marine friends, and the packs alone that they have to carry are over like 60 fucking pounds.
Yeah.
And that's just what they're walking around on. And I think 60 pounds is even on the low end. Like, you can't be a bitch and be out in the field like that. So what he's saying is just like usual, like they just throw in lies to everything, and everything is just a big performance. Like, even him saying like, oh, no more global warming, no more of that shit. That shit put in there, and those little like curse words is him trying so hard to look manly. But again, he literally looks orange like Donald Trump in the clip, because why? He's trying to be just like daddy and hid in that makeup room for 6 hours. So it's like, dude, you're wearing literally enough makeup and hair gel to fucking freeze frame you into position. Like, you don't have the right to say any of this shit. And you also don't have any fucking experience. Like in that room, there's probably like 1,000 years of military experience, and you're a fucking chump from Fox News who literally got there because you're a drunk asshole who literally does whatever his master tells him. So shut the fuck up, Pete Hegseth. You don't know shit about shit. And I saw you fucking doing pull-ups, buddy. You are softer than baby shit on a fucking burrito. Don't fucking like talk to anybody about being the epitome of health. It's like, come on.
He said no more DEI hires, but he was a DUI hire.
Yeah, he literally is the biggest fucking DEI hire, absolute DUI hire. But he literally is like everything that he claims that they shouldn't do. What the fuck? What qualifications does he have to do his fucking job?
You know what?
None. Can you deep throat the president? It's not that hard. It's 2 inches. Anybody could do it. It's all about will, buddy.
I don't care if you're male, female, everything in between. I don't care if you're hetero, homo, queer of any capacity, trans. I don't care. If you want to go fight for the country, then like God bless you for that. And I also think that there something could be said that maybe queer people have been through a lot, and I think that from an emotional standpoint, like they you obviously have to be physically fit to be in the military, but there's also like an emotional like mentality, component as well. And I think queer people might be better. You know what I mean? We had to endure so much for so long, and so like it's taken us a long time to come to terms with who we are and to like accept things. And I think that there's a lot of like big babies out there who are not queer and who've never had to do the work. And I think it's a big miss. I think it's a big miss to handle, the military in that fashion. What? So sad. What can you do?
Yeah.
Except
and it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, especially, like right now, sure, recruiting has been going up again the last couple of years, little by little, but it had been hugely dropping. Generally speaking, like people used to love joining the army, and they had a huge downturn. And it's like, is this really the time where you're looking to improve on those recruitment numbers? Where you really want to start shutting people out who are physically fit and can serve? Like, is this really the time?
Be all you can be in the Army Reserves, bitch. You little bitch. Like, it's just so stupid. I was gonna say something else about it too. I forgot what I was gonna say. Doesn't matter. Hegseth sucks. That's all.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. In summary, Pete Hegseth sucks. That was a highly performative, stupid.
Oh, now I know what I was gonna say. Okay, so I don't know what it's like to be in the military. Surprise, surprise. But I do know what it's like to lead. So in my company where I work, I am a global training manager, and I've learned over the years that in order to successfully lead, you have to build commitment amongst the ranks and stray away from like compliance. So compliance is when people do what they're supposed to do because they have to do it. But commitment is when they're passionate about a common goal and they do what they're supposed to do because they know it's the right thing to do and they want to do it. And so I think that he's doing all the wrong things in an effort to build commitment. He's just saying, do as I say and don't ask questions. And you're not gonna build a committed military. No one cares. No one likes that. So there are people that are leaders and then those that lead. So in other words, like sometimes a leader, like Donald Trump's president of the United States, we have to do what he says because it's what it is. No one really respects him, but it's just like that's his position, and so you just have to do it. It's like people saying, "Do as I say, not as I do." But then there's people who lead, like Martin Luther King. He led people, and he wasn't in a position of leadership. He just had a passionate message, and people came out into DC, which is like hella humid on a hot summer day to listen to him speak. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to, and they were committed to the common cause. You know what I mean? So it was the I have a dream speech, not I have a plan. It's like let's talk about a common goal. Uh, it's just so sad to me that he's in this position and he sucks at leadership. Like he's doing all the wrong things. He should take one of my seminars.
No, totally. And, trying all the fascist tactics in the playbook to a room full of people with much more experience and knowledge of what the fuck America is than he will ever know. So it's just disappointing to see this is where we're at. But again, people, I know the MAGAs get really upset and like, oh, why do you keep calling us Nazis? It's like, listen, you guys aren't going after the Jews. MAGA's not going after the Jews, but watch what the fuck they're doing. And a lot of it is very similar to the Third Reich. It is where their Project 2025 gets its shit from. You have to know your history. Look it up. This isn't just, and they refuse to see the parallels. And, people who don't know their own history are doomed to repeat it. And this is where we're at. So hopefully midterm elections are coming. Something can be done before it's too late. But if not, it's going to be a long 3 years. And with that, time to cheer us up a little bit, because it's time for emails from the listeners. And
woot.
Yeah. We got some good ones today. We got Josh from NYC and Graham from Phoenix, Arizona. Very hot summer in Phoenix. We got some good ones. So I'll
got a lot of rain.
Yeah, they do. Good for them though.
I gotta reach out to my buddy in Phoenix, because when I saw that they were getting rain, I was like, oh, that's great, because they could really use some rain. And then he sent pictures to my mom of like the torrential downpour and like the flooding, and I was like, oh my God, that's horrifying. That's not good rain. That's bad rain.
Well, that's the thing with these, another thing Hegseth talked about in his video. Oh, fuck the global warming bullshit, the climate change bullshit. Buddy, that's the reason these things are happening. And that's the reason why we're having once in a lifetime climate events happening like 4 times a goddamn year. Like the Texas floods, now here in Arizona, California wildfires, all this shit that happened. These things usually would happen like once every 20 years. And now here we are. And they refuse to see it. So dumbasses. But anyways, I'm not going to get upset again. For emails from the listeners. And we got a good one. I'll start this week.
Okay.
This one is from Josh from NYC. And yes, this one has to do with the Taylor Swift album release, which just came out. 24, 48 hours ago as of this recording. But he goes, hey, FratChat, I need to know if this is normal Taylor Swift fan behavior or if my girlfriend has officially lost it. So, in the weeks leading up to the new Taylor album, my girlfriend basically turned her apartment into a shrine. I'm talking countdown, post-it notes on the fridge, a dry erase board in the kitchen that said, 12 days till Taylor changes our lives, a literal candle altar she called the Swift spot, which I'm not going to lie, it's pretty clever. That's what I call my bedroom, but I'm changing the subject. Every time I open Spotify, it was already playing Cruel Summer like a placeholder for the prophecy. Then, the night before the release, she stayed up until midnight like it was Y2K. But here's where it gets weird. After the album drop, I didn't see her for 24 hours, like vanished. And when I finally texted asking where she was, she just replied, I went somewhere I could listen in peace. No explanation, no follow-up, like she retreated into a Taylor Swift sensory deprivation tank. So my question is that what being a Swiftie means? Or should I start looking for a new place before she builds a cardboard cutout of Travis Kelce in her living room? Help me out here. Josh from NYC. Wow.
I mean, that's a lot.
Swiftie. That is a lot. Swifties are a lot though. Like right now, for the last 48 hours or 24, whatever the fuck that this album has been out, they have listened to it like several fucking times, and they like decipher the lyrics, because to be fair, she does leave like little hints and shit in her songs to that.
Oh, she's super
Things by
clever.
future videos, future releases, shit like that. She drops like little Easter eggs is what they're called. She likes to put them in her stuff. So now all her fans like meticulously listen to everything like 73 times just to like decipher the messages first. And it is like, it is a little bit culty. I'm not gonna lie. But I will say, I heard a song from this album that I actually really liked, and that's a first for me to say. So if Taylor can reach a 37-year-old guy like me and make him be like, damn, that's a great song, she can hit anybody. So kudos to her. But yeah, it is a bit weird. It's a bit much. You should definitely watch out. Maybe follow her next time she leaves the apartment to see where she goes, because she might be trying to stalk Taylor Swift. And it would not shock me if you find her like sneaking back into the apartment at 3 a.m. with like a lock of Taylor Swift in her hands. Like, I did it, my precious. So I would watch out, buddy. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like, yeah, to me, like, I don't want to be like super judgy, but I do think it's kind of weird. But I also think to myself, like loving Taylor Swift to me is kind of like a healthy obsession. It could be where she could be obsessed with meth. You know what I mean? Like, it could be, if this is the worst thing that you experience in a relationship, like you have a pretty lucky, But I think that for some people, the album release date was like their Christmas, and like for others, when it comes to Christmas, we have that what's the little calendar thing that you like, you mark it down and then you get a little gift each day. What do they call that?
Uh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like, they had the ones that had like little like wine or chocolates, Covent calendar or something.
Advent calendars.
What's it called?
Advent.
Advent calendar. They
Yeah,
have the countdown. So I feel like people count down other things. When the people have vacations coming up, they might count down on their family calendar or whatever.
Totally. But that's one thing, and which is where I'm okay. Like, if she just had the little whiteboard and was like, count down to Taylor's album, and every day she just fucking, okay, that's cute. That's fine. But it's everything else on top of it that draws the line. Because don't forget, John Lennon was killed by a fan. That guy got John Lennon's autograph before, and then fucking waited for John Lennon to come back, and then shot him in the goddamn face. You know what I mean? So there are levels to this shit. And like, I'm just following now a case of a lady pro wrestler, Liv Morgan, whose stalkers in court asking them to let him out on bail, even though like they fucking found him in like her house and shit.
Ooh.
And like, these people do creepy things. I saw another one of a lady pro wrestler where a guy actually was breaking in with a knife and shit and was trying to kill her. And luckily, the girl woke up in the middle of the night and called the cops, and the guy got arrested. But like, fans be crazy, and shit has been happening. Taylor had a fucking stalker case recently, which is why she weirdly showed up for that fucking giant walled cheap stadium the other day, which for me was ridiculous. But after hearing about the case, I kind of get it. So there is a difference between like a healthy obsession and a healthy fandom, with like, my girlfriend disappeared for 24 hours into some weird Taylor Swift deprivation tank. So you might want to find out where she went. I'm just saying. Now, if she went with her girls to listen to fucking Taylor Swift, sure, that's healthy. But maybe don't disappear. Like, if you live with someone, they should probably not disappear for 24 hours without you knowing where the fuck they are at all. Like, if Julie fucking did that to me, I'd be pissed. And if I did that to her, she'd be pissed too. So,
you know what? I have some friends I think have like a weird obsession with Disney. Do you know any people like that? They're like,
oh god, yeah, the
they
Disney
love
adults.
Disney World.
Oh, yeah, it's too much. Yeah, they're
I
always
think
so
to
much
myself,
the person.
I think to myself, that's culty and weird. But then they meet someone else who's like really into Disney as well. I'm like, okay, well, at least they have each other. Like, okay. So, I think that this Josh, your girlfriend, I hope she has like another Swiftie friend that she can like hang out with and do Swiftie things together. Because I feel like if she has like a Swiftie club or like a group of friends where they can all talk all things Taylor Swift, that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable than her being like a lone soldier. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
by herself and her Hey Arnold shrine with Taylor Swift. Yeah, for sure, 1,000%. So, definitely, you want to ask more questions there, buddy. That's my suggestion before you run away, because this could be normal, but this also sounds a little bit creepy to me. So, I'll leave it at that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Simo, what you got for us?
Well, this one I've been sitting on for a while, but I actually went to a
I thought that
place
was
like
the
this
vibrator.
last
Oh,
night.
never mind. Sorry.
No, no,
Go
no.
on.
I sit on
Proceed.
sprinklers. Okay. This is from Graham in Phoenix. I hope there's not crazy water damage wherever you live, Graham.
Yeah.
And shout out to my best bud Derek. I hope that everything's okay with your house too. I'm
Oh
gonna tell you
yeah, I
something.
know Derek. Shout out to Derek.
I love Derek. Okay, so
We
Graham
love
wrote
the D.
you what?
So we love the D here, the FratChat
We love
Podcast.
it. Let me tell you. Oof. Okay.
Love you, Derek.
Dear Frat Chat dudes, there are a lot of underground bars where nasty things happen.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on these types of venues? And have you ever engaged in this particular activity? Signed,
Mm.
Graham from Phoenix. Now, Graham, you're very vague. And so I think that there are, when you wrote venues, it makes me think that maybe you're implying like swingers parties, like sex parties or things like that. Like I've never done that
Like
before.
raves, where like the dudes who like tin 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 tin, like rubbing their nipples with a
So like I've been places where there's go-go dancers. Like I've been a go-go dancer, you know what I mean? So I think that what he's referring to is okay, so there are some bars in New York. I actually went to one yesterday. There in New York, there's a bar called The Cock, and I've never been downstairs because it smells like poop, but I've heard that there's a lot of sexy time down there.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure.
I actually one time went to The Cock with my friend, and I'd never been there before. Actually, I think I was asked to leave because I was pushing someone. Someone groped me, and I got in the pushing match with someone. But um,
Wow.
the go-go dancer whipped his ween out, and then everyone like sitting around like this area took turns putting said ween in their mouth. And I thought,
No.
this is not the place for me. I don't want to be here. So, and then someone groped me, and I pushed him. He pushed me back, and then I said some things, and then they're like, maybe you shouldn't be here. I was like, I think you're right. So anyway, last night, one of my friends said, hey, there is a jockstrap party at the
No.
Eagle. It's every first Friday of the month. And I was like, listen, I'm not the jockstrap type. So he said, no, no, no. You can come like in jeans and a t-shirt. Like it doesn't matter. But a lot of people wear jock straps and it's all about like body positivity. And he said, it's kind of early. It's like a happy hour, so it's not crazy.
Jockstrap happy hour. A casual jockstrap happy hour.
Yeah,
It's very casual.
very
Don't forget, you can wear whatever or nothing at all. It's totally fine.
and,
Totally
and
fine. Just wash your ass.
he's such a nice guy, and he's come to see stand up, and he doesn't ask me for much. And he said, "Hey, do you want to come with me?" He's like, "My friends aren't going to be there." I said, "You know what? I'm going to go."
Wait. He doesn't ask you for much. Just come to my jockstrap party. That is asking too much. What the fuck? We come to
No,
see some jokes. It's different than coming to a place where everybody's gonna be in jockstraps.
listen, if there's drinks, I'm there. So I go there and we're both just in like t-shirts or whatever and jeans. And A lot of people were in their jock straps and I don't want to like kink shame. So there's people in jock straps I would prefer not to see in jock straps, but at the
Ugh.
same token, like they're comfortable in their skin, they should be. And so shame
Well,
on me
that's
for
all
being
the
like
people
an
that show
asshole.
up to those fucking things. They're always the people that you don't want to see. My question is, like, do they wipe the seat when they get up? You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
I was like, I'm so glad there's no seats at the bar where I was like, I don't want to sit on something that someone just had their bare butt on. So
yeah.
anyway, after like the happy hour, they open up other floors and there's like dancing and stuff and like go-go dancers, like, okay, whatever. But then I took a lap. I was like, let me see what all goes around up here. So I went to this like back area and people were having sex. And I thought to myself, is this legal? Are you allowed to do this? But I guess so. I don't know. Like,
I
but
mean, at the same time, it's like remember I was going to a bar at a crush party. Like I had disgusting things done to me at bars and crush parties that were certainly not legal. You know what I mean? Like if someone would have caught me, but you know, someone wants to give you a BJ under a table, you take the BJ under the table. You know? So I'm with them there. It's fine. That's illegal. That's definitely why that's the outfit, to wear the jock straps. So then, you know, easy in, easy out, quit fucking about, and you're good to go. You got a free
I
enema.
guess
No
so.
one knows.
So there is okay, so I watched this guy um penetrate 3 people in a row. Boom, 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 switch, boom, 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 switch, boom, boom, boom. And I was like in shock,
Wow.
like what's
Oh,
really happening?
yes, SIBO.
And then later
That's
I was like,
impressive, though. I'm not going to lie. Pow, 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 pow,
yeah, and I was like,
pow.
huh. And then I was like, I think I need a drink and I gotta go to a different floor. So
I need
I
a
went in,
drink
I
and a
got a
Bible.
drink. I was like, oh my gosh. And so then he ended up approaching me later and he said,
No.
you're cute. And I said, thanks, you're cute too. And then he started to get a little handsy. Whoa, 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 whoa. I just saw you penetrate 3 people. And he was like, yeah. And then he said, do you want to suck my dick? And I said, no, no, no.
Oh.
Let me just remind you that you potentially have turd morsels of 3 different individuals on said dick, and then you want me to lick it clean. You must be some kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is necessarily like the it you know what, it was interesting to like see everything. Now this isn't my bar choice, and I'm not sure how often I'll be revisiting this establishment, but um to each their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was glad that my friend invited me. And like it was a fun happy hour, but the after hour, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm at this level of like openness. Like
Yeah.
I feel myself getting really judgy. Like I saw it was just kind of amazing that strangers would just walk up to each other and start like caressing each other, kissing, and then like hold hands and wander to like a back corner. And I was like, wow, like it's so easy for some people, you know. I don't know if I could ever just like have sex and it's just sex. I'm a little too emotional. So I don't think that I could just like do the dirty and like not catch feelings. And so I just
I could do that kind of
I
shit.
refrain from it, you know?
Yeah, I could do that kind of shit, but at the same time, now I'm like, especially if I was single and looking, you know, for some booty, totally with obviously with ladies. But like now, I feel like I have gotten officially to the point of being in a relationship where like I don't have it in me to stay out that late anymore. I like went to this one place, I think it's called the Strangers in the city, where it was like where you go definitely to take Molly with your friends and like bug out, and you know there's all kinds of like different rooms, and there's like a cocaine room, and it was open till like 5 in the goddamn morning. There's people in like the weirdest outfits and shit. And it's definitely like somewhere where like something like that could have happened. But the entire time I was like, man, I'm fucking sleepy. Like I want to get the fuck out of here. Like, and it was like drinks were expensive as shit. You know, I was like not having that either. So it's like now I have definitely lost all my coolness. But maybe a few years ago, and if I was single, I could still get down. But yeah, I'm definitely not a. I have no qualms with a good one night stand. But my thing is, if someone's really good, then I want to keep them in the rotation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
fair.
you know,
I will say that a lot of bars, gay or straight, um that you know, sometimes things happen in bathrooms, you know. So I don't want to just say it's a gay person thing because there's a lot of straight bars where like I've known people to give or receive a blowy or whatever. And so what I saw last night was like out in the open and everyone was down with it and I don't think anyone was offended by what they saw. And so like, I
Totally.
feel like I'm being judgy, and I shouldn't be judgy. I don't want to kink shame. So it is what it is, and good for them. It's just not necessarily my cup of tea to that extent, but it was the jockstrap happy hour. I did enjoy. It's just the things afterwards. I was just like, I hope everyone's on prep. You know what I mean? I was like, I
Totally.
don't see any
Totally.
protection. You know, what can you do? But anyway, we can talk about that all day. Let's move on.
So in summary, those places are a lot like butt sex. It's not for everyone. So and
Yeah.
watch out or it might get messy. But it is now time for another edition of Not the. And this
Holler.
one we have to quickly fly through because we are pushing through on time. But this one is such a fucking wild case that we just have to hit you with it. So, all right, here we go. In Michigan, a guy named Robert Dale Tweeley Jr., which is about the most Michigan name you possibly have, is headed to trial after being accused of one of the most gruesome crimes you'll ever hear. Prosecutors say he met 41-year-old janitor Justy Stillwell on Grindr, invited him over, and then when Stillwell tried to leave, Tweedley pushed him down the stairs and strangled him. And now, here's where it gets really fucking horrifying. And Walmart is once again the unwilling sponsor of America's worst crimes because investigators say that Tweedley then went shopping for rope, garbage bags, and even an axe to chop up the body. Pieces of Stillwell were later pulled from the Saginaw River, where his head and torso turned up in a nearby nature preserve. Oh, God. Tweedley allegedly confessed, even admitting he used $40 taken from the victim's pocket to buy the supplies. Stingy bastard. He's now charged with open murder and mutilation of a body, held in $1 million bond, and a judge has ruled that he's competent to stand trial. No firm trial date has been set yet, but when this one hits the courtroom, it's going to be a fucking circus. So stay tuned. And just remember, folks, if you look at this gentleman here, Robert Dale Tweedley Jr., he's not a drag queen. He's not wearing sequins. He doesn't have a little book. He's not trying to read to kids. What he is doing is posting very pro-MAGA political messages on the internet and making fun of gays and shit. As he is going on Grindr to meet his next date and then chopping him up. So, I don't know. It seems it's not the drag queens doing this stuff. It's the so-called family values crowd hiding in MAGA hats with Grindr accounts. So, kind of weird. Kind of weird. What do you think, Mr. Mel?
I'm not surprised by this. And I think most queer people will tell you that when they came out of the closet, it was like taking a pile of bricks off their shoulder. They feel like they felt so much better, emotionally. They were able to get this off their chest. And I think that the MAGA right conservatives, they encourage this like macho, manly type of vibe, and they speak out against homosexuality. And so I think that there's a lot of closeted cases that have a lot of self-hatred, and it makes me so sad. And then that self-hatred boils over into these crimes. And I'm not defending it. I think they need to get their shit together. But I do think that the MAGA mega church culture contributes to a lot of this behavior.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, it makes me think that the only way that this shit's ever going to end is when someone like Anonymous or something ends up hacking Grindr and releasing all these people's data out there and putting it all out in the open. And then it's either going to be a war or it'll finally be over. And it's like, okay, you can be gay now. Like, just because here's the thing, like, if they saw just how many of the friends and family that they're afraid are going to judge them are actually doing the same shit that they are, they would not mind just being out. But it's like a lot of the friends who you have who are like telling you, oh no, fuck those, you can't be doing that. They're gay as fuck behind closed doors. So there's a lot of you out there Again, there's a reason why you crash Grinder twice during the RNC in 1 week. Like, that's fucking wild. That's
Yeah.
fucking wild. So there's a lot of you out there. So just come out already. Be comfortable. Who gives a shit? I certainly don't. I'm not going to look less down on you less. In fact, if anything, I would respect the Republican Party more if you guys were not just open with your sexuality and you can move on to doing other things with your time rather than hate laws against yourselves. Because ultimately that's what these anti-LGBTQ laws are. You're like punishing yourselves for the shit you're doing behind closed doors. So just stop
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's just.
Anywho's.
But we do have a great topic for you guys this week, and I guess I would be having some of her songs playing in the background while I do it, but we would definitely get the shit suit out of us. So I'm not trying to piss off Queen Tay Tay. So we're just gonna hit you with it. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
I do love her.
Week, we have a great show for you. We're going to talk through a new episode segment that we're going to be rotating around from time to time with different celebrities, where we're going to look through bad ass moments. Because a lot of people know that celebrities have their talent, their music and all their good stuff, but they don't know a lot of the things that they do behind closed doors that actually builds up their lore. You know what I mean? It makes fans like him even more. And I have to say, leading to this episode, I respected Taylor. I thought she was cool. I gave her much props for the things that she had done, but I didn't realize how much of a boss lady this lady is. So we have to give respect where respect is due. And we're going to hit you with her top 10 most badass moments in the biz, according to us here at the FratChat Podcast. And maybe after this, you'll respect Tay Tay too. And note again, we're starting with her. She just released this epic album that everybody's freaking out about. So we had to give her her respect where it's due. But we're going to do this with other celebs as well. Singers, actors, you name it, athletes. So if you have a suggestion of the one you want us to do next, shoot us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Again, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know who you want us to do next. And dibs on CMO's mom. Oh, yeah. Now, I have to sneak that in.
Charge!
So again, we have 10 awesome Taylor Swift moments. And I think Mr. Mo, you can hit us with the first one.
Okay. Well, my first one is simply just speaking out on politics after years of silence. So for years, Taylor Swift stayed pretty quiet politically, which led to a lot of criticism. And I think that most of the criticism probably came from the right because she used to be a country music sensation, and her, country fans are pretty conservative. But in 2018, she broke her silence to endorse candidates in Tennessee and spoke out against policies that she disagreed with. She also encouraged her massive fan base to register to vote, which is super powerful. Because before that, there were a lot of people who had like the Rock the Vote campaign, which was successful, and then that kind of like died off. Oh yeah,
Voter
P. Diddy
died.
did that. Yeah.
Voter, get the lube.
Yeah. But I feel like she kind of like
God,
resurrected.
P. Diddy, just please don't touch me. Oh God, don't poop on my head.
But then I think that she kind of resurrected excitement amongst young people, which is necessary. And voter registration spiked exponentially. She proved her influence extends far beyond music. And when she decides to speak, I think people listen, I also just wanted to point out that she stops politicians from using her music. So she's had politicians try to use her songs without permission. And then when certain candidates or parties try to align themselves with her music, her team shut it down immediately with cease and desist letters. So not only does she protect her art, but she also protects her reputation from being hijacked. That's a subtle but, badass power move. So
Yeah,
you
hell
don't
yeah.
survive her wave unless she says so. And I admire that
Mhm.
a lot. I also think that she formally endorsed Kamala Harris this last election season.
Yes, and she did Joe Biden in 2020. But the thing was, I have to say one thing: it wasn't just the right that was coming out. A lot of people on the left were coming out to have an opinion too,
Yeah.
because they were, they knew that kind of where she stood, and she had a big platform, and it was like you should use it for good. But kudos to her for knowing that she does have this platform, eventually understanding that she has the power to use it for good. And I'm not calling all Republicans evil, because there was a time where Republican candidates were not trying to fucking put us into the Fourth Reich. It didn't used to be like this. Now, unfortunately, that's just what you guys are putting out there right now. Uh, but it's good to see a celeb understand that she does have this platform and to use it for something other than just to make money or grift. They used it, for a good, positive social impact. So kudos to her. And like, slapping down a politician when you're an entertainer is an ultimate power move. So kudos to her for being able to do that shit. Like, she has like her own like legal team too. So I gotta give it to her. But now for my first one, I gotta give it to her for dropping the album oh my god, Folklore. Sorry, I just had a stroke reading that. And during quarantine. I feel like CMO now. I get it.
Yeah. Age catches up with you.
That's right. I got to get my reading glasses. Now, in 2020, when the world was shut down during quarantine, Taylor Swift surprise dropped the album Folklore, a dreamy indie folk record that literally no one saw coming. And while the rest of us were hoarding fucking toilet paper, she was crafting Grammy winning art. And it worked. Not only was it one of her most critically acclaimed albums, with critics calling it her best album yet at the time, but it won Album of the Year at the Grammys, and which I believe at the time she had been getting ghosted by the award show. I think that's true. Don't come at me if she had won like 19 of them Swifties. But while everyone else was literally baking fucking banana bread at home, she created art that reshaped her career again. It was unexpected, brilliant, and perfectly timed, which is the definition of badass. Putting out something, one, while no one was expecting it, and while no one was doing anything. You're sitting there, grinding on your art and winning, eventually Grammy Awards as a result. That's pretty fucking badass. That's pretty fucking badass.
Well, to be fair, Carlos, we spent the pandemic writing scripts and pitching it to different
That's right.
festivals, and we garnered about maybe 40 accolades and a few trophies ourselves. So like I think
That's
that
right.
maybe one could argue we're on par with Tay Tay.
I think some might say we're better, because 40 awards is better than one Grammy, in my opinion. So, suck it, Tay Tay. Not just kidding. Please don't
Yeah.
cancel Swifties. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
we're
it was
lucky.
very like humanizing for me to win awards in countries I didn't know existed or cities. I was like, where is this?
Yeah.
Anyway, so my next one is simply becoming a billionaire on her own terms. Like, what? This is crazy. Okay, so most billionaires in entertainment, like let's say like Rihanna or um Jessica Simpson, um most of these billionaires get there by branching out with like makeup lines and clothing
Right.
empires or booze brands. But Taylor Swift became a billionaire off the strength of her music,
Mhm.
touring, songwriting. So no gimmicks, no grifting, no cash grabs, just pure artistry and like being business savvy. And that's rare. So even legends like Paul McCartney, Elton John, they didn't make that leap. Taylor turned her catalog, her tours, and her storytelling into an empire. She showed that you don't need a side hustle to dominate the industry. Just be the best at what you do and own it fully. And that's incredible.
Totally. Totally. She definitely is very business savvy. And well, I don't want to spoil some of the things that she did because they'll come up on this list later on. But knowing your brand and being able to fight to preserve that brand is something that I have to give her massive kudos for. She knows what she wants. She refuses to deviate from it, and she doesn't let studio execs uh, change her image in any way or anything that she doesn't want to do. She's learned to fight back and use her voice, as I said before. So that is
You know,
badass to me.
I was thinking about like Mike Tyson is known for boxing. Now he's getting older. He's branched out and he has his own like weed line. Martha Stewart, I don't know why, but I don't think of perfume when I hear Martha Stewart, but she just came out with a new fragrance. And like,
Right.
P. Diddy made a lot of money blackmailing people, and but he also had, I think Ciroc is his, right?
Right.
So like a
Ciroc.
lot of people have these side hustles, and I'm not shaming them. Like, okay, yeah, like the hustle is real, but this is, I mean, so impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like Michael Jackson level shit. And, she's like in her early 30s. How old is Taylor Swift
Yeah,
now?
I guess
Let's
so.
see. She's 35. So she's about my age. Cool. Makes me feel better. I have
Why you
time.
say it like that? She's only 5 years younger than me.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, guys. Give me a moment while I count to 10. I gotta turn my mic off. What you got next?
To the next one. I have to give it to her for the Kanye West feud. This was a
Oh,
long
I remember
one.
that like it was yesterday.
And this is a feud that spanned years. This was longer than some pro wrestling feuds, for God's sakes. This all started back in 2009 at the MTV VMAs when Taylor Swift was just 19 years old, clutching her first VMA, excited to speak to the world. When right before she could really say anything, Kanye West stormed the stage, grabbed the mic, and declared that Beyonce should have won. Meanwhile, Taylor stood completely frozen, humiliated on live TV, and for years that moment defined her as like the girl that Kanye interrupted. And it could have ended her career before it even began. But instead
Right.
of fading away, she turned that low point into pure rocket fuel because she kept building, she kept writing, and by the time the dust settled, she was winning Grammys and headlining tours while Kanye's antics were becoming more infamous than his music. And then the feud reignited years later with Kanye's song Famous and the Kid Kardashian leaking phone calls, which triggered the Taylor Swift is over party hashtag. Now, most artists would have disappeared forever, but Taylor pulled the ultimate clapback at the 2016 Grammys while accepting the album of the year. During her acceptance speech, she told the world, there will be people who try to undercut your success or take credit for your fame. And everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. And it
Yep.
landed way harder than any diss track. And she also was able to prove that, Kim and Kanye had edited the voice memos that they showed of her, quote unquote, going along with the song, and eventually was able to get her hits back. Now, fast forward to now, Taylor Swift is literally selling out entire NFL stadiums with the Eras Tour, which she just finished, going around the world and selling out soccer stadiums, which fits so many fucking people. She's setting global records and becoming a billionaire off her music. And you look at Kanye, divorced dad with a Kim Kardashian lookalike fighting to stay relevant in the tabloids. You look at the scorecard after like a decade of drama, and it's not even close. You got to give it to her. She walked away not just the winner of the feud, but the undisputed heavyweight champion of fucking pop culture at this point. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Kanye is just being Kanye, and I'm not even a Swiftie, and you can't deny that she is the champ in pop culture right now.
What
Everybody
is he
knows.
even doing these days?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Like, Is he
he was
alive?
gonna come out with an album, I think, but it was like I don't think anyone gives a shit anymore. That's the thing. Like he has become the pop culture equivalent of the boy that cried wolf. You know what I mean? At first, you're yelling for the wolf, everybody's freaking out, and then eventually the wolf actually comes, and you're still warning, and no one gives a fuck anymore, and let the wolf eat. At this point, Kanye has said so much crazy shit and done so much crazy shit that I think everyone's over it. It's like unless you're gonna go back to making great music, because there was a time where he was a fucking lyrical genius and producer. People are done, buddy. People are done with the show. So
I think that
once he
when
drew
I
a
hear,
fucking swastika for God's sakes and try to sell it as merchandise, like, come on.
I
Come on.
like the song Love Lockdown. I liked the song. Did he take one of Shaka Khan's hits? Through
Yeah,
the
he has a bunch
Fire.
of great songs.
I
Like I
liked
used to
American Boy, but now when I hear his name, I just think um mental health issues. That's where my
yeah,
mind goes. I think this poor guy lost it. He needs a lot of help.
totally. Totally. Yeah, no, he had some Black Skinhead. I remember I used to jog to that shit and work out to it. The beats you know, he was the man back in the day. American Boy is still one of my favorite songs. It's like such a good song, and he really had everything. And it's unfortunate because I have to say I've been there when you lose a parent who's like your everything. You know, your mental health takes an ass kicking. But unfortunately, after his mama went, things just never were the same for him. And I get it, and I want to relate to him so bad. But he just went completely off the deep end in the last few years, and it's just. I mean, again, when you're selling swastikas as merchandise, that's fucking unacceptable. That's the last thing I heard of him, and I was like, okay, Kanye, I'm officially like done. You know, I'm marrying a fucking Jewish girl. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be fucking like I can't follow you or even look at your Instagram ever again, buddy. Like, no way.
No way.
So that
Oof. Yikes.
is my next one. What you got next, Mr. Mo?
Well, let's just say that Tay Tay was killing it at the Super Bowl. So
Mhm.
so so Taylor Swift didn't perform at the Super Bowl. She didn't release a halftime show. She didn't even step onto the field. But just by dating Travis Kelsey, her now fiance, she turned the NFL into her own like personal playground. So ratings spiked. Swifties were tuning into football for the first time, and suddenly her reactions in the stands were basically as important as like the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Think about it. She overshadowed the actual Super Bowl just by showing up in a luxury box. Even the NFL leaned into it, cutting camera shots to her mid-game. So, like, that's to me, that's badass power. Most celebs try to get booked at the halftime show, and Taylor stole the spotlight without even lifting a finger. Like,
Totally.
that's star power.
And that's what shows that she is the undisputed pop culture heavyweight champion of the world currently. You know what I mean? Where it's that kind of feverish attention that you haven't seen since the Michael Jackson days, since the Beatles, Elvis. You know, it's like that star power that
hmm
like just by showing like Simo said, just by showing up at the NFL, people are freaking the fuck out. Like, oh my God, turn the channel. I want to see Taylor Swift sitting there watching a game. And it got to the point where people even complained that they were showing her too much because the NFL capitalized on it. Like every time we show her, fucking rating spike. So literally they just kept going back to her every 5 minutes, you know, and it did get a little much. But yeah, like Travis Kelsey kissing her at the Super Bowl almost became bigger than I'm going to Disney World. You know what I mean?
It was almost bigger than um oh who's the guy that kisses his son on the mouth?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
And that right now, that's still the biggest kiss in the NFL. But Taylor, being a close second of that is a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying. But yes, on to the next one. Moving on in the badass ladder. This is where she started to gain my respect as a businesswoman too. But that's something I don't want to spoil,
Yes.
which is taking
She
down
is
Apple
savvy.
Music. He's slapping those bitches down because
Yes.
a couple of years ago, Apple Music had decided to announce a 3-month free trial for users. So you check out Apple Music, you get it for 3 months for free. Then you can start paying the monthly membership. But here's the kicker: they announced that during these 3 months, artists would not get paid for people listening to their music on there, which is, I guess, great for fans, but terrible for fucking musicians. Meanwhile, while this is going on, Taylor then decided to drop an open letter basically saying, "Hey, Apple, you've got $200 fucking billion in the bank. You can afford to pay us." Making the demand that they stop doing this shit. Less than 24 hours later, Apple caved. Literally, this bitch posted this shit on Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
On Tumblr, for God's sakes. A single Tumblr post from Taylor Swift forced the biggest tech company in the history of Earth to change its policy. So think about that. A pop star's blog was more effective than Congress, for God's sakes, and got the job done quicker. There's no way Congress would have done this shit. It would have taken years, if anything. One Tumblr post. I don't even think, is Tumblr still even around? Do people even
I was going
use
to ask you
Tumblr?
that. I don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah, Tumblr still exists. It's alive and well. Sorry, but yeah, I haven't used Tumblr. I don't know if I ever did. I feel like I had a profile like 10 years ago, but I have no idea. But yeah,
I used to upload all my pictures on this website that went down, and I lost all my pictures from college. It was like, oh, I forget what the site was called, but there was a site that like everyone used in college. You would just upload your pictures, and you had these albums, and I'll think of it. But yeah, it's gone. It makes me so sad because I had all these like fun pictures from like fraternity parties, like socials and things like that.
totally. I got lucky. My
Uh-huh.
freshman year of college was like the second year of Facebook, when it was still just for college students. And it might have even still been like, month 10 of the first year when I went to college. But it was still very early on. But all my pictures, all my college pictures are on there on Facebook. And so if something ever happened to Facebook, they'd be lost. But so far, when you see Mark Zuckerberg posted up at the inauguration of the President of the United States, sure, the Fourth Reich will be strong and well, but my party pictures will live on. So I'll take it. I'll have something to look at from my concentration camp.
I can't find what it was called. Um, Photo sharing website, not Photo Bucket. Maybe it was a Flickr. Mm,
Oh, that's what I do. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. With 2 fingers.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it was called. Doesn't matter. Anyhow, so my next one is when she shut down Ticketmaster. Remember this?
Oh, yeah. She fucked them
Okay,
up.
so this is like a really
Ticketmaster
big
deserved
deal.
this shit. Hit it.
Yeah. So when the Eras tour tickets went on sale, the demand was so insane it broke Ticketmaster. But when you think about it, like I think a lot of Taylor Swift's fans are parents. I'm sorry, are kids whose parents are buying these tickets.
Totally.
And like if I'm buying something for myself, uh, you know, if I want it, I'll try to get for myself. But if I'm a devoted parent and I want to make sure that my kid's happy, like there's another like level of urgency that goes into play when you're trying to satisfy your kid. You know what I mean? Like buying something for me on Black Friday, who cares? But if I have a kid and I want to make sure that the kid gets exactly what they want for Christmas, Like
Hell yeah.
that's a top priority. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So the demand was so insane that it broke Ticketmaster. Fans couldn't get in, the site crashed, and scalpers were charging thousands. It was such a disaster. Congress got involved. Lawmakers started grilling Ticketmaster executives about monopolies and fair access, all because of Taylor Swift. So that's badass, but I think this is like badass by accident because she didn't mean to start a political movement. But just by announcing a tour, she exposed the cracks in the entire live music industry. And that's how powerful her fan base and reach are. So few artists can crash the internet, but Taylor Swift crashed the government.
Totally. And here's the thing, artists for years had been begging Congress and anybody really to look into Ticketmaster's, price gouging and for being a monopoly, for all this shit, and for scalpers doing this practice. Like this was not a new problem. Everybody knew that it existed, but no one ever fucking did a goddamn thing. It was like crying into the thin air, hoping that something's gonna get done. But they didn't want to do shit. No one wanted to go against Ticketmaster. No fucking way. But again, just like Simo said, by her just putting out this ticket and having the demand that it did, it forced the government to act, and it forced them to look at their practices. And Ticketmaster has since been looked at for being a monopoly, all this kinds of shit, and all their practices have been put on the table to the point where they've actually had to change some of them. And I believe there's even class action lawsuits against them and stuff that have gone on since. So that goes back to just being the fucking undisputed pop culture heavyweight champion of the world right now, that just putting out a fucking tour can do that. So good for you, babe. Like that's so impressive, dude. Like I have to give it to her. When you get the government off their ass to actually do something for the people, you're doing something right just by existing.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's swag. So on to the next one for me.
Taylor, can you get the government to do something about medical insurance?
Yeah, right. And we could get some water to Flint, Michigan, some clean water.
Yeah,
They really need that.
that'd be nice too.
Maybe launch a tour in Flint, Michigan, and then people will need water. So say you need it for the tour to be successful. Have like a waterfall thing on your stage, and you need clean water, then the government will act. So
I think if Taylor Swift was like, you have to be vaccinated with everything to come to my concert, we would see an uptick in like vaccinations. Because the parents would be like, I'm not vaccinated, and it causes, autism. And then all these kids were like, I have to go to this concert, please, mommy. Yeah, the kids would be like, please, mommy and daddy, please, can I have my shots? I want my shots. You know what I mean?
shots.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And now on to the next one. And this goes to show also not just that she's good with money, but also like her character, that she has principle. When she sued for $1 and won that shit. Because in 2013, a Denver DJ groped Taylor Swift during a meet and greet, which is pretty fucking bad. And instead of settling it quietly, she sued him for sexual assault in 2017. But here's the kicker. She didn't sue him for millions. No. She was not trying to bankrupt this man. She didn't need the money. No. She sued him for $1 because it wasn't about the money. It was about accountability, which is a word that I fucking love here on the FratChat Podcast.
Yeah.
Beautiful accountability. And here's the thing. She won. The jury sided with her, and that single dollar became a symbol. It showed that she wasn't just after headlines or payout. No. She wanted to stand up for herself and other women in the industry that this kind of shit happens to. And that $1 verdict carried more weight than any massive settlement could, because it was one of her boldest and most principled moves, literally not about the money again. It was about the goddamn accountability. And that is just so goddamn badass. Like, here's the thing, you know how much money she planned to spend on her defense and stuff, or not her defense, like just her case, to do this, and between the lawyer fees and stuff, and you got to probably find like security footage, all this kind of shit, just to make $1 for $1 fucking. A lot of people would say it's not worth it. A lot of people would say that's insane, but no, she put her money where her mouth is, to get her shit, to get her accountability, which is, oh my god, that's so badass, dude. Like, that's legendary shit right there.
Yeah.
That really is legendary shit right there. Going to court for $1.
This, to be honest, this would have been my number one. I think
Oh,
this is the most impressive.
that's so cool, dude. It's so
Yeah.
cool. It's like I would make a TV show about this. You know, like this could be the plot of like a Mad Men type plot. You know, where Don Draper is such a badass that he decides to sue someone for that kind of shit. Like, that is literally the plot of a TV show. That's just so badass. So Taylor, if you're listening, goddamn, it's cool. But anywho, what you
Well,
got?
this is my last one. So this is my number one.
Final
So,
one.
my top badass moments of Queen Tay Tay was the Eras Tour film deal, which is a little unconventional than like most film deals for a concert. So concerts, concert films usually go through studios. Not Taylor. She cut out Hollywood and went straight to AMC theaters and struck her own deal. So there's no middlemen, no gatekeepers. She owned the rights. She kept control and pocketed hundreds of millions. So good for her. That's not just business savvy. That's like mogul energy, you know? She
Literally.
proved that artists can take direct control of how their work gets released and audiences will follow. The Eras Tour film became one of the highest grossing concert movies ever without a single studio executive in sight. That's the most badass move in her career so far.
Totally. And I think it even ended up on Disney Plus. So like she got, a streaming deal out of the situation on top of the
Yeah,
AMC
girl.
deal. Like being able to negotiate all that shit on your own is wild. Like, obviously she has her lawyers and she has her team, but being able to have control of this shit, like you said, that is above and beyond just being an artist. That is being a fucking mogul. That is having the business sense to know that, hey, why make millions when I can make hundreds of millions, and just being able to do that whole operation at that scale while operating this massive tour and have the business sense, the foresight of also recording this tour so you can release it in that future date is huge. And it goes to show that whether it's her or her PR team or whoever her ad team is or whoever's coming up, her marketing, whatever, give that person a raise because they are coming up with ways to make you money that are above and beyond outside the box. Like, holy shit, dude. That's just impeccable business foresight to be able to know that this tour is going to be epic. Let's also make a movie out of it and we'll release that ourselves. Don't worry. Fuck the studios. We got this our own. And, like, between what the tour made and just the actual tour, and you combine it with the movie, it has to be one of the most successful tours in the history of the world, if not the most. Because Michael Jackson, for example, had epic tours, but they weren't tied up to also a money-making scheme like the movies. Like This Is It. They made the movie off of his rehearsal footage and it made a ton of money, but that wouldn't have come out if he hadn't died. There was never the tour. We never got to see the This Is It tour. So like maybe that would have been the closest thing to something like this. But other than that, I can't think of any that have the combined income of the tour and the fucking footage and the movie. I mean, so Woo! Kudos to you, Taylor Swift. God damn, making a fan out of me. And for my last one, though, and I have to say, fun fact: Kelly Clarkson should get all the credit for this idea because she's the one that suggested to Taylor Swift to do this, and Taylor Swift actually did it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, fun fact. I said, "Oh, you should do this," and fuck the studios. But she re-recorded her entire catalog so she could own the rights to her music, which is fucking epic. Because when her old label sold her masters, and someone's vacuuming above me, so if you hear what sounds like, I guess a giant vacuum, that's what it is. But
You have gas and you're embarrassed to talk about it.
yeah,
It's
that's
okay.
right.
Everybody farts. Room.
That's right. But when her old label sold her masters without her consent, most artists would have literally just accepted it. Like, what the hell else can you do? But Taylor Swift says, nope. She got the idea from Kelly Clarkson, and she said, I'm going to re-record everything, which is hundreds of songs, hours of music, and literally years worth of work. But she fucking did it. And the Swifties backed her fully. Now, Taylor's version tracks are actually charting higher than the originals, which is insane when you consider that the originals were out for years. For years. And these new re-releases, maybe, like the originals had, some of these songs had 10, 15 years head starts than the Taylor's versions. So she basically hacked the fucking system. She took what was stolen from her and made it completely obsolete. It's one of the boldest moves in music history, and it set a precedent for other artists that they're now following her. That is pure badassery, dude. They're like, oh yeah, you want to play games? You want to play games? Fuck it. I'm gonna go into the studio and record all this shit. Like, she had to chase down like artists that she had worked with to do it again, like pay all these people to produce all this work again, like do all this shit probably out of pocket.
Oh, I didn't even think about how expensive this is. I just think about the time commitment, because time is money, but it's also like there's soft calls and hard calls.
Studio time is not cheap, let me tell you. And on top of it, you're doing it to basically, like, imagine like you've written a book already and now you have to rewrite the exact same book. I'd be like, oh, like that's such a fucking undertaking, you know what I mean? And she managed to do this shit. She poked the studios right back in the eye, the labels, I should say. The studios are more for movies. And, she showed them, I'm not someone to fuck with. And to me, that's why, like, I was between this one or Suing for $1 is number one. But it's like, dude, to be able to completely shut down labels like that with their high-powered attorneys, and she beat them at their own fucking game in business. And these labels have been around for goddamn ever, way longer than she's been doing music, and she beat them at their own fucking game. That to me is the ultimate badassery, which is why I had to put it at number one. Because she fought fire with fire and she burned that motherfucker down. So shout out to Taylor. You're a queen. And
you're a phenomenon.
That's right. You have huge respect here at the FratChat Podcast. And that is something that not many have. So kudos to you. And with that being said, that was our list of the top 10 most badass moments of the one and only Queen Taylor Swift. And again, let us know what you thought of the list. Let us know if there's any badass moments we missed. Maybe we'll talk about them on the show again. Just shoot us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to suggest any other topics or any other celebrities for us to do these badass moments list with, send us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. And in the meantime, you can give us a follow on all social channels at FratChat Podcast. That's on Instagram, that's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, and Threads. And you can also give me a follow. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com. And you can also give me a follow on all social channels. Check me out at Carlos Does the World on Instagram, on Threads, on YouTube, on TikTok. Carlos Does World on Twitter/X. And you can also give my buddy CMO a follow here at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram and TikTok, and C-More Comedy on Twitter/X. Oh, yeah. So, Mr. Mo, I'm feeling badass myself. So it's time for us to roll. So won't you please get us out of here?
I motion to adjourn this meeting so I can listen to her new album.
And I second. Even though there is this one song that I really like in it, and she is like, I think she's frying Charlie XCX. That's her name. Yeah, whatever. The youngster out there, Julie's telling me what the kid, Charlie XCX or whatever. She's roasting her for some shit that she said, and I had no idea about the drama about the song.
Oh, I didn't know this either.
Yeah, no, there's
maybe we can play it at your wedding. Maybe we can walk down the aisle to that song.
Yes, if you said you can play Taylor at her wedding, Julie will do backflips. So, on that note, it's time for us to roll. So we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the FratChat Podcast. I'll see ya.
Bye.